I'm gonna have many parts to this, probably three parts to this presentation today. So the last time I had a 3-hour video and it bombed off, so that's why it didn't upload. So hopefully, maybe it was too long of a video. If I break it into hour parts each time or 45-minute parts and upload that, then they'll go. So I'm going to repeat some of the HTML that you heard last time, which would be good. I think probably everybody could use a little review on that. Okay. Now to begin with, um, if you're getting signed up for the textbook, what you do is you click the course tools over here on the left-hand side. Then you click Kali Digital Access. And you'll see over here, there's a View Course Materials once it gets done loading. When you click that, it'll give you an access code. And that's the access code you need for the textbook. Once you go to course content, here's direct access to the textbooks, but only what I put out after each class is what you actually need to do grade-wise. So if you want to go and do more, you can, but this is what's due. Now, not all this is graded activity. Like this is just reading the tutorial, so that'll take you to the reading on tutorial 1. Unit test was graded. Crossword puzzle was a practice, and unit 1 test is graded. So there's only 2 items from last week that were actually graded. All the rest of these are for readings and practice. For example, this one I think brings up the PowerPoints. Here's flashcards. So you got algorithm, flip the card, tells you what an algorithm is. So again, there's nothing graded there. Computer science, we'll practice that. I put these out here, not that those are that important. Probably you'll figure out how to bring up the test and the book at the same time. And from the test, you'll take the question and look up in a book, which is fine. I understand that. But if you want to use these tools, they're out there. Was there any questions off of where anything's at on Blackboard?
No, but I'm not really helping Java. I'm gonna have to need you to help me install the programs that crashed the computer last time. I had to put a new operating system on.
Java crashed your computer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to put it on there. I don't know how.
Huh, that's interesting. Oh, there it is.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. If it's Java, usually even comes default in a lot of cases.
They kept saying I needed Java like 1.8. When I tried to put 1.8 on there, that's what happened. And it went to the little blue screen that says Windows error.
Oh, blue screen of death?
Uh-huh.
BS.
Luckily, I had a thumbstick.
Blue screen of death. BSOD?
Yeah, I had a thumbstick back to it. I didn't have that. I would have been able to fix it. I would have had to go out and buy a new Windows.
Well, this is the email address. If you it tells you your code doesn't work, start off by emailing them. I think there's like 4 of you. I couldn't get in last week, but they said they fixed it.
Yeah, I got an email from them. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I didn't hear from anybody. Well, I heard from one person, but that they were fixed. But I didn't hear from any of the rest, so I assume no news is good news. But if it isn't, then first start off by sending an email to them. If they're really aren't very helpful, let me know, and I'll forward this on to our our bookstore lady, our bookstore lady. And somehow it seems like when we get her involved, they really kick in the gear. Um, I suppose that because they want to keep doing business with Cali. Okay, so an overview of HTML. Remember, you go to Notepad or Notepad if you want a good tool. There's even better ones than those. There's some editors out there pretty good. And I show Notepad because if your computer crashes, if you're going to a company that you've never been to before, if they have Windows, they have Notepad. That's there's even actually a better one called Word. Is it WordPad? Yeah, WordPad. It allows you to see it a little bit better on the screen, I think. But I'm just going to use Notepad. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I do a file save as, and I got a directory called web page. Now remember the save as type. You do the drop down there. This has to be all files. So if you don't change that to all files, then it'll put a txt on the end, which is no problem. You could rename your file, assuming you're showing extensions. And I'll call it review.html. How do I start a web page? HTML. Yeah. How do I start the body? Body. Yeah. Those are kind of obvious on those, right? How do you start the HTML? Well, you do HTML. How do you start the body? Do the body. Oops. Better do that in the right order. So this is your starting tag. Has to have the less than, greater than there. This is your ending. You have to have that slash there. But case doesn't matter. You can have a head section. This is the header section. And that's head and slash head. Within that, you can have your title. We're going to see you're going to have a lot of other things later on too, like JavaScript. That's where you put your JavaScript code. Title, welcome to my page. And then close title. Grab a drink here. Now, if I save that, and I come over to my web page directory, and I see the review there, I can right click on it and open with, and then you can choose whichever browser you want. I'll choose Google Chrome because I like Chrome. Now you notice up in the tab, it says welcome to my page. Depending upon the browser, that title might appear in different locations, but suspect it should be somewhere up at the top. This is line 1. And how you can do line breaks is with the BR. This is line 2, BR. Now there is no beginning and closing tag for that, like the head and slash head, HTML slash HTML, because BR just performs one function as a line break. But the new standard is you put a slash on there like that. I'll save that. Now if I come and refresh this, you can see this is line and this is line 2. You can have paragraphs. P for paragraph. And then slash P. And I'll type this is my first paragraph. You can have P here and you can have a slash P down here. And this is my second paragraph. So I'm come over here, refresh this. You see it puts them down here, but there's space between them. In Word, if you're creating a document, you press enter, it does a new paragraph. That new paragraph puts a little bit of extra space in there versus just wrapping down to the next line. So if you don't want the extra space, you get rid of your paragraph and you put BRs. So that's one of the web pages I created for one. Well, it was for a class, for a course I created for a college. They thought it was too much white space in there because when you print it, I printed too many pages, so they wanted that all to be BRs. They didn't say it in that sense. They just said we don't want all this white space. So it's easy. I just did a edit there's an edit here and a replace, and I replaced the paragraphs. I think I replaced these with BRs, and then I replaced these with spaces. Now, if I want space in here, remember doing the space bar doesn't do anything. Remember the code for that? Right. Non-breaking space. Now, over in this website I gave you, W3 Schools, you see down here, there's, I think Symbols has it. HTML symbols. If you want the euro, it's the and symbol, euro, semicolon. Or you can do these. And here's all the different symbols if you want to put them on there. There's a code, or this is a math symbol for all. So if you want to do any of these, then you put those codes in. You see there's a full math reference here. If you want to do Greek letters, then you see that. And you see there's even a full Greek reference. So I suppose you might have people that have all these memorized, but it's not necessary. And I wouldn't even say that all browsers support this. W3C says this is a standard your browser should support it. So if I want this trademark right here, TM, looks like and trade semicolon. So if I come here, do a and trade semicolon, save that. Let's go refresh our page. Puts a trademark on there. So key thing to keep in mind there is there's tons of symbols, and you can find a full symbol reference. I think there's even a smiley face. Could be wrong about that. Snowman. you do the snowman. £97.31. Pound 97.31. Pound 97.31 semicolon. Sure enough, snowman. I think this will work on here. You should be able to apply. Remember, we talked about big. So that should make my snowman bigger. Bigger snowman. So, anyway, different codes you can do. To get rid of the snowman and trademark. If you got a good editor, the editor will have like an insert. It'll bring up special characters, and you click that, and it'll put that code in for you. That's a package that will write the web page for you. Now, for this class, we're going to be writing from scratch because that's the point of it. Learn how to do it from scratch, and so when you're working with one of those tools, you can know what to do. I was working with one of those tools. I think in Canvas it was, and I don't know how I did it, but we haven't looked at tables yet. But I deleted one of the cells, and I couldn't figure out how to get it added back in. So I had to go to the HTML and clean it up. There's just times when you need to be able to go into the HTML and change something, fix it. I still don't know what I did to get rid of that. Had something highlighted wrong and pressed delete or something. Okay. Now we talked about images too. That's where you do the IMG and you say source equals, and then inside quotes you put your image name. And mine, I had the Pink Panther here, so I'll do pink.png. And let's see if it ends with that slash. You don't have to put slash there, it still works. Save that. I got my Pink Panther there. Now let's say I want words to the side of it. There's different ways of accomplishing that, but something new that we haven't looked at is putting a table in here. What do you think? How would I put a table in there? Table, yeah. A lot of HTML is just common sense when you think about it, start thinking about it. Now this next is probably not so much common sense, but we put a table and then we end it with a slash table. Now within the table, I want to put a row. Now you might think, well, ROW, right? That's what I think. But then again, row could be row of anything. So you might think table row. Well, I suppose they thought that was too long. So to put a table row, you put TR. So that's how you put a row in your table. And of course, you end it with your slash TR. Now this, I have no clue why, but within a row, you want individual cells. And that's TD. Table data cell, maybe? I don't know. And I'll put a closing TD here. Now, if it starts throwing you on this, you can use indentation so you can see which row they fall in, what's in each table cell. So here we got one cell in there. If I want another cell, then I'll put that in. This is text and /TV. Again, start table, end table, start the row, end the row. Start the cell, table data cell, end table data cell, and down here. So now if I save this and refresh this, I'll see I got text right beside the image. Um, I think I like this. To me, this is the cleanest way to integrate image and text together. There's other ways, but I like this best because it gives me total control. Now, up here in table, you can do a border equals 1. And I put the 1 inside quotes. I like that. I like this, at least to begin with, because it shows me where my table's at. What it'll do is it'll resize these cells to match the width of whatever you're putting in there. So the fact that this image was this big is why this first column here is much bigger. If the image was smaller, it'd shrink it down. You can tell it the width of each one of these if you want. Let's see if I remember the syntax on that. I think you come here and you say width equals 400. And come down here and say width is equal to 400. Might have to have quotes around it. There it goes. So then it resizes those accordingly. Typically, you never hard code that in. It's not good practice. Why is that? Yeah. When I'm hard coding it, I'm assuming all screens at least have 800. Is that a true statement? No. So either you let it resize itself, because the idea of HTML is no matter what device you look at it on, you look at it on your phone, you look at it on a computer, or your desktop, whatever, it should look roughly the same. So you can leave that off, or you can actually put a percent here instead. I think I'd put quotes around it, where I say this is going to be 50% or 50%. Say it has to be 75% of my screen. And it may not need the quotes. And this will be 25% of my screen. I may have that wrong. So that's not taking 75% of my screen, is it? What if I don't need the quotes there? Let's see. I've still got something wrong on that. Let me go to W3 Schools, refresh my own memory. Tables. Colon, with colon. Oh, that's a style. I don't want CSS. I want HTML. HTML table width %. Maybe I have to say the table is 100% because I had it right to begin with. Let's try that again. I'll put quotes around here. And let me change this to 25 and change this to 75. I had it right. Just my image, how big it was, it was already at roughly 75-25. But when I change it, this is roughly taking up 25% of your screen, and this is taking 75% of your screen. Now again, up here, you can set your width of your table. So you set your width is 400. So of that 400 pixels now, it'll have this percent breakdown. I don't know, that percent kind of looks kind of iffy to me. But my image is still pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's kind of skewing the results. Lots of different options you can do with that. And we're going to take a look at style sheets here pretty soon that will expand upon that, give you even more power, more control over it. A lot of people do not even use these options anymore because they use CSS. So, what?
I haven't heard of that yet.
You never heard of that?
Uh-uh.
Very, very powerful tool. We used to have a class just on CSS here at Cali. They've done away with it for some reason. Wasn't my area. That was over in the computer applications people, business people over in Web Brown. So that could be because it was only offered online, which makes sense. It's a web-based class, and so maybe that lady that was teaching it every semester, maybe she decided she didn't want to do it anymore, and they didn't have anybody. I don't know. Yeah. Is there any questions so far on those ones we reviewed and that new one we looked at? Okay. Now let me see. There's some other ones I should mention. Annotations, comment, colors. Colors and fonts are kind of iffy. What you want to do with it. You have to be careful about it. You can make things different colors. Tomato, yeah. For example, this is my paragraph here. You can do a font tab, and it's this I may not get right on the first attempt. It's either color or BG color or might even be another combination. But let me try color because I think that's text color. Tomato. Then I'll close the font. Now let me talk about it after I see if it works. Yeah, change it to tomato. The font here has a closing font, but then it has an attribute set in here where we say we want to change the color to tomato. There's other things you can put in here. I don't know if you can put BG color for background. Let me try it. See if that works. I might be imagining that attribute. Sometimes I seem like I make them up or get them confused. It wasn't BG color, obviously. Okay, get rid of that then. Background color. Here's the background color. That's what I was trying to do. Again, they're going to, oh, here's the, no, that's CSS. It seemed to be putting too much CSS in the, this part. Let me do background color. Yellow. Okay. Now let's refresh that. Oh well, we'll revisit that when we get to CSS. Text color you can set. So lots of different things you can do with that. Images we talked about. Lists. We just briefly go over that again. Then I think we're about all caught up with the review. Okay. How do I do a ordered list? Well, and then inside there you do an LI for the list item. Red ended with a slash LI. Is it slash LI or LI slash? Let's try that. I don't remember. Blue slash LI. I doubt it's that one. It's not. It's the way I've been doing it. Okay. Usually a slash at the end is only when there's no beginning and ending tag. There's just one tag. So again, this is ordered list. If I refresh that, ordered list puts numbers. If you want to put Roman numerals or something like that, then I'm sure up here you put some kind of option. You can Google it and find the answer in about 5 seconds. Or you can sit there and memorize everything. HR, what does HR do? Horizontal rule puts a line across the page. And the unordered list is UL. So LI, cheers. Assembly show. Law and order. So again, start with the UL, ended with slash UL. And then each one has an LI, ends with the slash LI. If I refresh that, gives you this. Now, I use this for some pages that I keep track of information on, and I don't know why I just don't keep it in a Word document. Oh, I know why, because I have links in it, so I can click it and it goes somewhere. Um, but if I want extra space in there, on mine I put a BR here at the end for the line break, and that works if you don't have that /LI. So I'm curious what it'll do here. And see how it puts an extra line there? Because on the page I have, I don't want them all shoved in together. I want spaces to separate my different sections. It's kind of useful if you got a. It's kind of like my toolkit. You know, if you got web pages that you go to fairly often, then you can put them in a web page like this, put them on your flash drive, and then whenever you want to find the resource for HTML, you got the link there. You want to find a resource for JavaScript, find a link there. You want the code file or the code help for Swift programming language, you got the link. Now you might say, well, why don't you just bookmark it, put it as your favorites type of deal? What's wrong with that? Right. And I know there's a website out there that you can put all your favorites, your bookmarks out there, and then you have them with you forever. But I just like to have my flash drive, and then I don't have to sign in any website out there, and I always have it with me. But anyway, you can use that for that purpose. Okay, let's talk about CSS. And I'm going to save out this video because I don't want it bombing again and losing another HTML. So